Hello and welcome everyone to this week's Coffee Break webinar. My name is Richard Benwell, founder here at Squared Up. Matthew Long, my normal sort of companion on these coffee breaks, is having a well-deserved holiday, but I'm not alone. Actually, I'll be joined later by a guest speaker. Before I get on to that, today's webinar is going to be on a new F5 Big IP dashboard pack developed in conjunction with Comtrade and Squared Up. So hopefully those of you on the call, if you do have F5s in your environment, this is going to be very relevant. Either you're the sort of SCOM administrator, Squared Up guy, or perhaps you're the F5 guy. So hopefully this will be a good discussion for all of those on the call. If you don't have F5s, this is still hopefully relevant to you. We'll be looking at how we can extend Squared Up on top of your management packs by adding in custom dashboards and perspectives, and really how that sort of adds to the whole end-to-end application monitoring story that you can deliver with SCOM and Squared Up. So hopefully there's something in this webinar for everyone. So let me move on to the kind of content. We're going to be taking a first look at the new F5 Big IP dashboard pack developed by Comtrade in conjunction with us here at Squared Up. I have a guest speaker, Mario Antunović, on the call with me. Let's just make sure Mario can hear me. Mario, are you there?
Hello, everybody.
Yeah,
great. Hi, everybody. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today.
Fantastic. Thanks, Mario. No, Mario, you're head of monitoring at Comtrade Software, so that sounds like you're the right kind of guy to have on the call with us, and you'll be taking us through probably a bit of your management pack, looking at the data, and also the new dashboard pack that we have with Squared Up. So Mario will just be sort of joining us in a second and go through a full demo. And what we'll be looking at is looking at, in general, extending Squared Up with dashboard packs. Then we'll take a closer look at monitoring those F5s with SCOM and the Comtrade management pack for SCOM, and then we'll of course get stuck into a live demo, as we always do on these webinars. So it won't take long until we get stuck into a sort of a live demo on Squared Up. So just sort of for me to, I guess, give a little bit of background on dashboard packs. Dashboard packs are really fundamental to Squared Up v3, but a little bit hidden unless you do start expanding and extending Squared Up with custom sort of dashboards and perspectives. Dashboard packs really are a bundle of views that transform your management pack data into specialized views in Squared Up. So while Squared Up will automatically show you all data you have in your SCOM environment from every single one of your management packs, whether that's a SQL management pack or an F5 management pack. All of that data will be available in Squared Up out of the box. You'll be able to drill down to all of those objects, view all the alerts, and view all the performance data. What you don't get necessarily out of the box is then actually transforming that data into meaningful views. So a dashboard pack bundles up a bunch of views to allow you to understand that management pack data better. So the most obvious one is dashboards. Typically with a dashboard pack, you'll get a high-level dashboard that's going to give you an overview of a particular stack or a particular sort of application. But really, in addition to that, and where Squared Up v3 comes into its own, is with customized drill downs. So not only do you get that high-level dashboard view across your entire environment or across a group of objects, for example, you can now drill down into specific objects and get specialized, meaningful views on those objects. Now, object is a SCOM term. What that means is, in a sort of SQL sense, that could be a database, a SQL engine, or the server it's running on. In an F5 sense, that's now going to be the actual F5 device, or it could be one of the pools that the F5 is load balancing, or perhaps even an SSL certificate installed on that F5 device. Those are all going to have custom perspectives, so custom views on those objects. We haven't done much of this, but we sort of will be expanding this in the future, is actually starting to also create custom views on top of your alerts. So given a specific alert from a management pack, we'll be able to start customizing how that alert is displayed. So not just the standard alert fields you get in SCOM, you'll get a specialized view to help you action that alert as soon as possible. So that's something that is enabled in the dashboard pack architecture, but something we'll be filling out over time in the dashboard packs that we have. Of course, another key part of being able to specialize your management pack data is as part of visual application discovery and analysis and sort of dynamic table perspectives we have. So when we're visualizing just an object on a map like on VADA, we can then switch into the analyze mode, and we want to see information about that one object. So again, with a SQL server, we'll probably show the number of connections into that SQL server and some of the key metrics for that SQL server. For an F5, we want to see some of the key metrics for that F5 load balancer as well. So the dashboard pack can create a view that specializes how a node is seen on a VADA diagram. So that's what a dashboard pack is. They're bundled up. It's essentially a folder containing a bunch of different files that give you everything from dashboards to these perspectives. And really, this is what Total Dashboard Architecture, or TDA, was built for in Squared Up v3. Rather than just installing a management pack and having all that data collected in SCOM, you really want to engage your users with meaningful monitoring views, so they can pick up Squared Up, they can start viewing that SCOM data and get going with it. It makes sense to them. It's formatted and presented in a way that makes sense to that particular user. And really, the goal being that if you have all of these different management packs installed in SCOM, you can monitor your applications end to end. But not just that, you can start putting all that data into a single pane of glass, into a single view across all your different IT systems, infrastructure and platforms. And what we'll see later is how we can now, with the F5 management pack, see that alongside other perspectives on a single application, whether that's sort of a SQL perspective, a hypervisor perspective, and now obviously an F5 load balancing perspective. And this is something we have talked about for a long time. I'll come on to this sort of towards the end of the webinar when we see this in action. Really, this is about bringing everyone into the same room, bringing everyone into the same view, and being able to share and understand information, not just in one particular silo, but across all of the different infrastructure pieces that build up and deliver applications. So rather than having your F5 administrators looking at just their tool and their monitoring and their systems and not really then observing what's happening in the rest of the stack, and vice versa, the application engineer not having visibility into that F5 engineer's tools, really that breaks down the barriers, having all this information in SCOM and in Squared Up. So dashboard packs are a key part of our strategy at Squared Up. We have a dashboard pack community. So on community.squaredup.com, you can download additional dashboard packs for Squared Up and unlock all of these new views. What we'll be doing this year, and what you'll be seeing a lot more of this year, is extending the available dashboard packs that we have available. So that brings us to our guest speaker, Mario, who is from Comtrade. Now, so Comtrade have the F5 management pack, and they've been working with us to build a dashboard pack. So Mario, if you're on the line, we'll sort of talk through what you have on offer. So Mario, I guess probably first of all, it'd be good to get a bit of background on Comtrade. I think most people on this call will recognize the name from perhaps the Citrix management pack. So can you take us from there? So what happened to the Citrix management pack, and what are you guys focusing on now?
Yeah, thanks, just for introduction. Yes, this was a big announcement for Comtrade Software, and also a huge recognition for the products we are providing and offering to our customers. So at that point of time, we were able to provide a monitoring solution for whole Citrix infrastructure, actually to see every single component of that stack. But the biggest value we have provided was the monitoring of the end user experience and possibility to fast pinpoint the root cause or the component in case there is some issue with the application, if it is not available, or maybe it is dealing with a poor performance. So understanding of every single component of Citrix stack and understanding of the dependencies between all these components was the key for the success.
And I guess Citrix is a complicated stack. It has very much an end-to-end element. It's not just one server. You obviously have the terminal services hosts, but the stack goes all the way out to, I guess, Citrix's own gateway and load balancer, the Citrix NetScaler, which you monitored as well.
Yes, that was the first experience with monitoring of the networking devices. We experienced that with the NetScaler. It is pretty clear that also the networking is a very important component for the application delivery. So we also, after we built that, we have moved to the F5 and delivered the monitoring solution for that as well.
So the Citrix management packs, I think, were acquired by Citrix and now sort of branded and sold as part of the Citrix Platinum license. I guess you guys are sort of still sort of involved there, but you've now sort of gone on to do F5 and a few other sort of management packs, I think.
Yes, you are doing the F5 as already mentioned, and Nutanix as well. But I can also mention that we are working on the Microsoft OMS integrations, for these two products.
Ah, great. Yes. So I mean, F5's very familiar. Nutanix, I guess maybe maybe familiar to some of the audience, and maybe less so. Certainly in a Citrix world, Nutanix is a recognizable name and often combined with that sort of Citrix infrastructure. So I guess you guys have expanded out a little bit more. So what led you to F5? Was that just a development sort of on from building the management pack for Citrix NetScaler? Was it sort of an obvious next step to cover the other main load balancer out there?
Yeah, I would say both. Actually, F5 is very mature networking solution, available on the market for many years. And we also are aware that many enterprises are using F5 to deliver secure applications to the business users. So 3 years ago, with support of the F5 itself, we actually launched the first version of the SCOM management pack for F5, which at that point of time actually replaced the management pack built by F5 itself.
Oh, I see. Great. Yeah. Okay. And then I guess the sort of obvious question, and it's obviously a leading question as well. You've had the F5 management pack out for a while. It offers some comprehensive monitoring of F5 via SCOM. I guess the big question is, do F5 administrators actually then use the SCOM console and engage with that data in the management pack?
Well, that was always the challenge, right? There are so many teams responsible for business application delivery, but they are all actually to work separately and use their own tools. And with the solutions like Squared Up, this is actually the challenge could be solved with the solution. It brings business application into the focus of the IT and gives at the same time all teams control over the environment they own, with additional possibility to customize monitoring of their specific needs.
Yeah, and I think probably what we see a lot of is management packs are installed, and the sort of end users, people like the F5 administrators consume the alerts, so they might get the alert emails out of that management pack. But of course, the management pack offers so much more. It has all that sort of performance data collection and so on. And really, that's where we want to see, from a Squared Up point of view, really see those F5 administrators engage with that data and see the value of that management pack. It is more than just being spammed with email alerts. It actually has all of that information that you might need to report on and view on. And of course, the sort of flip side is true in both. We want to engage people like the F5 administrators with SCOM and the data in SCOM, but also we want other application engineers and sort of stack administrators to be able to view the F5 data. It's not just about addressing sort of the F5 audience. It's also about allowing application engineers to understand sort of F5 performance in the context of their application as well. So that's great. So I guess what we all want to see is the management pack and the dashboard pack live in action. So I'll switch over to the demo lab and we'll get started. It's worth saying to the audience that this is a live webinar. We have, as usual, the Squared Up technical team online to answer any kind of questions you have from a Squared Up point of view, but we also have the Comtrade technical team online as well. So fire away on any questions across really sort of any kind of Comtrade management pack topics or Squared Up topics, and we'll either cover those off sort of in the background or escalate some of those questions to the webinar, and we'll sort of talk about them live. So let me fire up our demo lab. And now what I've done deliberately, Mario, to make you look good, I'm going to just come into my demo lab here. Now, what I've done at the moment is not installed the dashboard pack. We have your management pack installed, and we have an F5 installed into our demo lab. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill down into this F5 and click around. And I don't know much about F5 load balancing, so I'm going to make myself look a little bit sort of stupid and look a little bit lost. Then hopefully what we'll do is we'll install the dashboard pack and see really how all of this data is transformed into sort of much more sort of meaningful views, and see how it kind of works as part of the bigger picture. So as I say, we've installed an F5 into our environment. We've also installed the Comtrade management pack for it. And this is what you get. So as I said at the top of the webinar, without any dashboard packs, you can still access all of the data. So we can see the actual network level device here with some of the general sort of SNMP properties. And I can also drill down into the F5 Big IP object that is discovered by the Comtrade management pack, so we can see the sorts of properties and attributes of the F5 that you're collecting here in your management pack. As I say, I don't really know how to interpret many of these, but it all looks useful. We can see the monitors and rules you have. I guess also I can see that you are monitoring things like the CPU cores. Let's just drill down into that. Yeah, okay. We kind of get down to some fairly sort of low level items here that your management pack discovers. And I guess what I can also do, let's just back up to this level, switch over to performance here. I can see also the management pack is collecting this performance data. So if, for example, you do already have the Comtrade management pack for F5 in your environment and you have squared up, this is probably the sort of views you have. And obviously you can push this out to your F5 administrators as is, and they can probably sort of locate the data they want. But you can see that it's fairly generic and it's fairly sort of just raw SCOM data. So let's look at the magic when we install the dashboard pack. The dashboard pack is available online, so I'm just going to switch over to community.squaredup.com here. I'm just going to refresh this just to make sure I've got the latest view, and you'll see here that actually under latest we've got the F5 Big IP. So this is the actual dashboard pack. It's stored up on community.squaredup.com. The page here just has some screenshots, give you an idea of what you're going to get, and it lists out the dashboards and the perspectives, and obviously talks about the management packs that you'll need installed to actually get this dashboard pack working. You can download it manually from the community site, but actually if you're in Squared Up, all you need to do is come over to import dashboard packs up here, and we should get that same view within Squared Up itself. So actually from within your instance of Squared Up, I can look at this. We have it under the recommended, or you can just have a look at the latest. It'll be the very latest dashboard pack that's been added. So all you need to do is click install. It says imported successfully, and you'll notice now that actually up here already I have some dashboards available. So as well as adding in the dashboards, it will have added in some of those perspectives, so we can drill down to the content of the dashboards and sort of understand what we're looking at. So at this point, I'm going to switch over to Mario. Mario, I'm going to give you mouse control, and maybe you can take us through those dashboards and the drill downs, and sort of now show us what we can see with the dashboard pack.
Okay, thank you. Let me see if...
Do you have control there?
Not yet.
All right, let me try that again. How's that looking?
Okay,
yeah, there you go.
That's better. Okay, so for the initial version of the Squared Up dashboards, we delivered 3 separate dashboards. We call them, start your day dashboards. This is the overview of the F5 deployment on which is actually part of your SCOM deployment. So there are 3 different dashboards. First one is the infrastructure overview. Then you can see about the application delivery health, and also the LTM pool members, which are actually the application servers which are in the load balancing mode. So if I start with the F5 infrastructure, definitely every morning we have to make sure that business is satisfied with the application delivery, that there is no issues with the performance or outages. So the first thing, we will provide you with this dashboard would be actually you will see the health of all big IP devices. In this case, we have only one deployed. Another one is the traffic, which is going in and out of your F5 infrastructure. This is the historical chart, and they are usually useful to understand the end user behavior and potential optimization of the existing infrastructure. And on the right hand side, you have also the most important alerts, which could give you more insights into the issues you are dealing with on the F5 application delivery layer. If you go drill down into the specific device, again, you can find useful historical information about resource consumption and traffic, helpful to identify the root causes for bad application performance. This bad application performance could also happen, for example, in the morning when people are coming in the office and they are, for example, launching their applications. But this is just the high level on the F5 infrastructure deployment. If we go to the application level, there is a simple dashboard, but usually, in huge deployments, you will see many of the applications actually delivered to the end users. Here you can see the health of all applications. This is actually another dashboard for the IT and the F5 teams to start the day and pay attention on the unhealthy applications. So if you drill down into a specific application, you will see the alerts, health of underlying application servers. In this case, we have only one pool member. This is the application server, which means that we are not in the load balancing mode, and also the SSL certificates. In this case, we don't have any certificate required for this application. But if I go back and maybe show you one of the sample for another.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah, here it is. So we have different SSL certifications for F5 experts, and also many of you who are actually making sure that the applications are delivered and there are no outages. In many cases, expiration of the SSL certificates could be an issue. This dashboard will help you actually to identify which certificates needs to be renewed before they expire. So if you drill down into the certificate, in addition to the alert, you can also see for which certificates which certificate you have to renew, and also what was the expiration date. What is the expiration date for that? There is also another view. It's about the application servers and the health of the application servers, how the F5 see that. So for F5 admins, you are pretty aware there are specific monitors which are checking the heartbeat of the application servers, and based on the response you can get if some application server is available to the F5 load balancer, so it can actually load balance the traffic over there. If you drill down into the same pool member, the same we have seen in the previous dashboard, you can get the same information and see, what is required and so how in this case, this application server is performing.
So in this case, this Web04 is offline, so you can see the the traffic sort of out through into that server is flat, and it's an issue. So obviously the load balancer will be doing its job. Maybe if you can back up there, Mario, and drill down into one of those other pool members.
Oops.
So we come down into op web, yeah. So that's sitting in front of our sales application. So you can see actually there's more sort of traffic going through, and then drilling down into one of those, you can see specifically the traffic going through to any one of those load balanced servers. Yeah, so I guess just to be sort of clear about what we're seeing compared to what I was showing earlier, we haven't switched to a new environment, so this is the same squared up instance on top of the same SCOM management group. Before I was showing the monitored entity tab, and Mario, if you could just click on that monitored entity tab there next to the pool member tab, just down a bit. That's it. Yeah, if I can take control here. So before I was looking at this data. So that's the raw management pack data, and having installed the dashboard pack. You know, Mario, you've just been clicking around, making it look all very easy and very straightforward. And actually, that's all because then the dashboard pack is installed and allows you to sort of drill down into any of those dashboards and view the data as you'd expect to see it for any drill down. So that's fantastic. I think probably also worth mentioning, of course, you know, all of the squared up sort of options are there. So drilling down into one of these metrics, we can then back up, for example, to 7 days. I think we've had this installed for a sort of week or two. And again, the F5 administrator can select a time frame and export that data sort of very easily. So that is fantastic to see it all in action. Thanks very much, Mario, for taking us through that. Was there anything else you wanted to cover off, or can I now show a cool VADA demo with this in action?
Yeah, let's go to the VADA.
Yeah, great. All right. So hopefully those of you sort of watching this webinar, you've sort of seen the previous coffee breaks. We talk a lot about visual application discovery and application monitoring. What I wanted to do, you know, now Mario sort of talked us through, you know, very much an F5 centric sort of use case there and sort of user story. So Mario mentioned about sort of looking at those dashboards in the morning, just checking that everything's healthy, and obviously then remediating anything that's showing as an issue, whether that's an SL cert or a load balance server being unavailable. So that's very much the F5 sort of centric perspective. What I wanted to do is now sort of bring this back into the application monitoring scenario. So I've come into Web 01. So this is just one of the web servers in our demo application. So it's called OPP, Order Processing Platform, or the Sales app, as we call it. So this is a web server in that sales application, as we've seen before, the different perspectives. Now, if I switch to App Discovery, and you'll see us now when we do demos of visual application discovery from now onwards, you'll see us talk probably less about the Citrix Netscaler and more about an F5, and very typically the load's not going through the F5 at the moment. Let's rerun discovery and see that. There we go. That's what we wanted to see. So now discovering out our web application, our application servers as well, we do see now the F5 sitting in front of those web servers. Now, something off script a little bit, something that we're not able to do at the moment, but we'll be working with Comtrade on, which is kind of quite exciting now to sort of pick up their management pack and get this into our lab, is we'd like to be able to run discovery on the F5 itself. So you can see here, if I click there, discovery is not available. So we're using the netstat data on the Windows servers and the Linux servers to discover what's connected to what. What we'd like to do here is just reach out to that data collected by the F5 management pack, look at those pools and say, okay, we know this F5 is sitting in front of Web 01. What else is in that same load balancing pool as Web 01, and actually run the discovery on the F5 side of things as well. So hopefully you'll see that coming later sort of this year as we sort of look to enable that as part of visual application discovery. So we have our application modeled. You'll all know that we can then switch to analyze mode, and we'll be able to sort of put in data now for that F5. And what that means is that now when I come back to my sales application, sort of coming back to breaking down those sort of barriers between the silos. Now, having discovered that F5 as part of my application, imported that into a SCOM DA. Now, if I drill down into that DA, I have all the perspectives we looked at before. So the availability of the application, and of course this is outside in, so this is actually testing the availability of the application all the way through that F5, through into the load balanced web servers, and then the infrastructure behind. So if I switch over to topology view, I should be able to see that end-to-end topology with the the F5 sitting in front of this this application. At the moment, there's just that single one there. Obviously, if that itself were a high availability F5 deployment, would see two of those F5s there. So that's great. So we can see that health end to end, including the F5. And as we've shown before, we have different perspectives on this application. So we can see the service desk perspective. We can look at the changes coming in from OMS. We can check out the SQL administrator, the SQL DBA, can check out the health of this application from a SQL point of view. And what we've done, this is not part of the dashboard pack, so just sort of make that clear. What we've done is for our applications, we've added in an F5 perspective into this application as well. And this could be specific to this one application, or we could add that into all of our applications. So now the F5 administrator can be looking at this application and understanding the health of it from an F5 perspective, but also so can the application engineer and anyone else involved in supporting this application. They can drill down into the DA in Squared Up and switch the perspectives and switch over to this F5 perspective. Now, it might be that as a non-F5 administrator, just as an application engineer, I'm the one who spots the fact that the SSL cert is about to expire. And hence I can kind of drill down into this information and escalate this with the F5 administrator or sort of directly with my security team to get that SSL cert renewed. Similarly, if we talked about the management pack providing alerts, so let's just say we're not engaged with the SCOM data right now. We're not looking at these dashboards. We do get an SSL cert alerts, and maybe this has come through via email. If we drill into Squared Up here, we can see the SSL cert warning. We can see it's on our F5, but because we've added it into our DA, that F5 is part of our DA, we can see the effect it will have on our application. So we have an SSL cert that is about to expire, and we can see that this F5 is part of our sales app. And that again really sort of joins the dots from just that email alert that goes out saying something might be about to go wrong, and actually tying that into a specific application and the broader picture of that application. So really powerful story, both just with that management pack and having end-to-end monitoring, but also having the dashboard pack and having the visibility across all that management pack data for every one of your applications. So a fantastic story. Hopefully that's relevant to anyone on the call who has the F5s. But as I say, we'll be delivering dashboard packs out for other management packs as we sort of kind of progress during the year. So whether you have Citrix NetScalers in front of this F5s, we've got a Kemp load balancer dashboard pack out there already, for example. So assuming you do have load balancers in front, and I'm sure you do, there is probably already a management pack and probably already a dashboard pack as well that you can get for your load balancing. So that's the end of the demo. A few kind of questions that come in, and so hopefully we can sort of cover this off here. I think Mario, we had someone just asking about how can they get their hands on your F5 management pack. So do you want to just talk us through the options there?
Yeah, sure. If you visit our page, you can find a lot of information about our product. Please sign up for a free trial. We're going to get the 45-day version of the F5 management pack. That version will include all the product documentation, evaluation guide, and also the reference guide, where you can find all the metrics, all the monitors, alerts we are triggering, within our solution. And feel free to drop us an email if you have any question.
Great. So yeah, there's a link there. We'll be sending these slides out, and I think we'll also be putting a blog up shortly about this new dashboard pack. So there'll be that link there. That's a great sort of micro site on the Comtrade Software website that has a sort of video and everything else you need to sort of understand what that management pack offers. As Mario said, the management pack has a sort of free trial download. The dashboard pack, just have to follow the demo I've shown there live on the coffee break. It's up on community.squaredup.com, but you can actually just sort of download that within Squared Up itself. So that will work with the free trial of the management pack that Mario's just talked about, as well, obviously, as a commercial license for that management pack. So once you have that free trial, you can download the dashboard pack and see that all in action. So thanks very much, Mario, for joining us. I'm just going to wrap up with some resources for the coffee break. We have the topics questionnaire just to tell us what you want us to talk about next. We also have squaredup.com/coffee break series about the agenda. Now, I'm actually going to mention here with that demo we just showed, and Mario was sort of talking us through those dashboards and perspectives. That was obviously in a very sort of limited demo environment. Here at SquaredUp, we just put an F5 in front of our demo app there and just sort of view those dashboards on top of it. So that sort of gives you a flavor. Obviously, what you want to do is see this a little bit more in action in a real world environment, and that's exactly what we're going to give you next week. So on next week's Coffee Break webinar, we will have live on the webinar Sean Williams from Purdue University out in the US. He, I think, is monitoring, maybe around sort of 3,000 servers with SCOM, has a large F5 estate, load balancing there, and he'll be showing us a lot of different things in action, a lot of application monitoring solutions in action, and sort of many of the things we've covered over the last few Coffee Break series we'll see live. So that will include the Comtrade management pack for F5, that dashboard pack we've just seen, but also the OMS monitoring we've covered in the past, and many other sort of topics we've covered in these past Coffee Breaks. So do join us next week. That will be a live demo from Sean at Purdue University, showing us through his environment and a lot of these different ideas in action, and some sort of fantastic application kind of monitoring solutions he has built there. As I say, we'll be publishing a blog just on this dashboard pack, so all of these resources will be available on that blog, and this webinar is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube shortly after. So I think that just leaves me to say thanks once again to Mario from Comtrade for joining us on this webinar and showing us through the new dashboard pack, and of course thanks also very much for Mario and his technical team who've helped sort of put that dashboard pack together over the last few weeks and deliver that out to the community. I think probably worth sort of emphasizing as well that dashboard pack is freely available. It is a community now sort of resource up on communitysquaredup.com. So once you have the management pack from Comtrade, they have now generously built that dashboard pack and provided that to the community. So thanks everyone for joining. I'm just going to put myself on mute, take a quick look at the questions that we've had come in. I've seen sort of lots of questions come in and be answered. I'll just have a quick scan through that and see if there's anything we want to surface in the webinar. Otherwise, I look forward to speaking to you all next week. Have a great week.